Well, good evening, everyone. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. All your beautiful faces.
Coming back.
How's everybody doing? Ricky's playing with the screen. I could see you guys a minute ago. Now I can't. Okay. Hey, Elizabeth. How are you? Nice to see you. Colleen. Hello, hello, hello.
Susan, Cameron.
Teresa, Jessica.
Cameron got us to take us to Gator National Fair.
So excited. You're the best. Oh my God.
And Bentley.
And Bentley, thank you. Oh yes, Cameron over there is the hookup for our little fatty Bentley. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
22 pounds.
22
3
pounds.
months old. That's real great. They said mini. Good job, Cameron.
He's totally not a mini. Well, I don't know. We'll see how tall he gets.
Okay, who else?
Mini this way, not this way, you know?
We got Myra. We got Bill's iPhone. Hey, Bill.
Julia.
Jessica Cummings. Teresa Stoker. Kendra. Jamie Jones.
Oh, I love
This
you
way,
guys.
Jamie. This way, Jamie.
Where's Jamie? What?
Melissa, Chris. We got Judy,
Kendra
Jillian
has like these big
Colleen's asleep.
on there. I like
Stacy's iPhone.
I like them. They look cool. She's serious.
Annie.
Tracy.
Hi, Annie.
Birthday girl coming up. Can't wait to celebrate with you. Coming to Jayville.
What is she?
Alicia. Hi, Alicia from Canada.
Hey, everybody, put in the chat where they're zooming in on the Zoomiverse from, so we can see the reach, and everybody else can make sure you take out your phones and text your people, get them on here. Oh wow, it's going a little fast there for me to do all that.
Like,
Ponte Vedra Beach, Destin, Kentucky, North Carolina, Mammoth, California, Memphis, Conroe, Texas, Hesperia, California, Pittsburgh, Jayville, Duval County, San Diego, California, 10 to, I don't know, what would be 10?
Where's 10?
Tennessee, maybe? Jacksonville,
Tennessee,
Florida,
Tennessee.
Pompano Beach, Jax, Nashville, Destin, Ocala, Fort Lauderdale, Savannah, Craig, Colorado, Hi from Canada. Here we go. Our Canadians are on. Northern Oklahoma, Madison, North Carolina, Ponte Vedra, Heather, George, Destin, Florida, Stone Mountain, Georgia, Omaha, Canada.
I like the voice.
Hi, North Carolina. Is hi in North Carolina?
I know. You tell me.
Yulee, Coldwater, Michigan, Hilliard, Florida. Isle Palms hosting tomorrow. Whatever that means. Florida. Oh, that's Hillary. Thames Ford, Ontario.
You guys keep on putting in there. We'll have him do this for the next 20 minutes.
Massachusetts, Greenville, South Carolina, Pittsburgh, Tampa. Hello from Fing, California. No, wait, that is Fing. Hey, Fing. North Carolina, Fort Mill, South Carolina, Burlington, Ontario. Hosted tonight. That's not a place. Tampa, Florida, Costa Rica. Look at that. Been there 9 times. Love it. Punta Gorda, Neptune Beach, Lake City, West Hampton. Folger's in the rich part of the country. West Hampton. So, all right. Well, glad you guys are here. We love all of you. Merritt Island, Tampa, Florida. A lot of Tampa tonight.
Totally.
Because you did that. Lawrenceville, Georgia. All right. Well, Alicia, you in Canada? Are you on the Zoom tonight? Getting her attention.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for getting on tonight. First off, we love all of you. Thank God for all of you, and pray that this year is your best year, and the next 4 years changes your life forever. Success is a journey. Doesn't happen overnight.
That's right.
It's which I don't want to start going, but it's a journey. As Dexter Yeager said, as the greatest line, I think, give yourself time to succeed, right? And I would say this: you only need 3 good people. 3 good people. That's what you should write down. I only need 3 good people. So many people focus on the no's, how many people they got to contact. If you start focus on, I only need 3 good people, then guess what? You can max out the binary. You can max out so much blessing in your life. 3 good people. Are you willing to go find 3 good people, right?
Yeah. And we're just saying that because it's so good. You know, I know we have to have housekeeping and all that, but when he said success is a journey, it's not a destination. And I think sometimes we get so hard on ourselves and thinking that we haven't got to this place where it's really not. It's celebrating your daily wins. And I think that's one of the reasons why, we have gone so far is that we didn't look at that huge, mountain that we had to climb. It was just every day doing 1% better. And if you did 1% better for the next 6 months, you're 180% better. I mean, that compound effect of everything we do, I think it's so important. And it's true. You only have to find a few good people.
We're already raring to go. You got us a good night here. I mean,
Well,
we're not even doing housekeeping yet. She's going.
Well,
Okay.
we've been on different Zooms, so we're like,
Yeah, well,
ready to go, ready to
well,
go.
we're getting to that different Zoom because that is part of the process. And I think that story for them will kind of, hit home on what you're saying. But before we do that, if you're anywhere near Jacksonville, Dr. Dan, if you don't know who Dr. Dan is, he's the formulist and PhD of the company. What does PhD mean?
Does anyone love Dr. Dan? Put a 1 in the chat if you love Dr.
Oh
Dan.
gosh, she
Come on,
has a
guys.
crush on
I
Dr.
do
Dan.
not. I never have a crush on anyone.
She likes nerdy scientists.
So
So
weird.
is it the doctor's coat?
No, it's not the doctor's coat.
So what does PhD mean? Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm still trying to figure out what you just said.
Trying to make you laugh. PhD. She's all serious over here. What does PhD mean, Colleen?
Yeah, so
Put it in the chat. I don't know.
So Dr. Dan is coming to Jacksonville
Look,
on
Colleen.
February,
Aw,
on
I'm pretty
February,
people.
on Wednesday, March 5th.
Doctor of Philosophy?
It'll be at 6:30 at the Loft.
Is that real?
Yep. Of what?
Is that what PhD means?
Yeah, Doctor of Philosophy. Yeah,
Oh,
philosophy.
I wouldn't
So
have
he's
guessed
not
that.
like a medical doctor. So he's a chemist. That's just different.
Philosophy? Okay. Anyway, he's coming to Jacksonville the 5th of March. And if you're anywhere near Jacksonville, come because I mean, honestly, no playing around. Sorry, I was playing, but he is phenomenal. And I think the most important thing for me is he absolutely loves 3. He loves nutrients and molecules, as he calls them. And when someone has a passion like that, what are they going to do? They're going to put their heart into it. And when they put their heart into a product in this profession, guess what? It has an effect.
Dish.
Yeah, it has an effect on people's bodies. And when it has an effect, people go out and share. So, but also, as I talked to Daniel just the other day, he goes, and we were talking, he was just pulling up at the office. He goes, look at this, Dr. Dan pulling in the same time as me. He's here every single day. He's here at 7:30 in the morning. He stays all day. He absolutely loves 3 and what he's doing. I don't have to call and find out. And long story there, but he loves what he does, which is, I mean, when you hear him speak, right?
Yeah, he has so much passion and conviction. I think conviction is powerful, and passion's powerful, and he has them both. And he just has such a spirit of gratitude about him. And, I work with him a lot. I have to ask him a lot of questions because we work with so many doctors, and I don't go outside of my scope. That's the beauty of what we do. And he's always like, he thanks me for asking him a question. He's like, thank you so much, Francoise, for reaching out today and giving me the opportunity to answer your question. I'm like, I just need more of you in my life. And,
thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's just so
Thank you for
great.
being
And
on Zoom
I just decided this, it's like that 1% more that we could do, or the change that we could do every day. I'm going to start a gratitude. And you guys if you want to do it with me, I'm going to start a gratitude journal. And every day I'm going to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. Because I think if we're grateful for more things, we attract what we are. And if we're grateful for more things, I think more gratefulness will come to us in the universe. I think God will do that for us. And so I think that I'm going to start that the next few days. And if you want to join me, I think changing your mindset from the negative to the positive is always a good thing. And I think you'll look at your whole day differently. I tried it today and it was really powerful, but I think writing it down is even more powerful because you go back and you can look at the things that you are grateful for, especially on the days that are hard. Anyone having a hard day? Maybe today? Anyone hands raised? Any hard days today? Okay, Susan. Yeah, Susan, Tracy. Yeah.
Every day's hard. You just get tougher.
Yes. Annie, Tracy.
Every day's
Susan,
hard. It is just
for you
tough.
tonight.
I had to buy another tire for my son's car. So today was.
It's not real life.
What? Real life for me. Convention.
Okay, so Dr. Dan, be there. Also, I am doing an interview at my home with Dr. Dan, and this video is going to be content that we can repurpose. I did tell my leaders, if there are questions that you think would be super helpful to any of you guys in the field, put them, send them to me directly. If you don't have my number, send it to someone that, one of your upline leaders and get it to me, because I really want to make sure that it's not just what I think, but the field, because it's going to be the things that he doesn't stay on stage, the things that he's not asked, every day. It's the questions that we're getting all the time. I think it's gonna be super helpful, and I have them for all day. So I do a lot of content. And then what I'm
So that
also gonna
means
have them
I'm
for-
gonna have to work super
I
hard
have to
that
work
day.
super hard. And then what I'm gonna do is, when people come in onto the team and they're like, okay, I got my products, what do I do? So I'm gonna have them do like an unboxing of the products and just like how to use your products. I think it's gonna be super fun. And it's not like it'll have a little sciencey stuff for the people that need it, but it's gonna be more layman's terms, just him in the kitchen, in my kitchen, going over the products. It's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited about it. Are you guys excited? Because I can't really see or not. Yes, number 2 in the chat if you're excited about that video, because I think it's really cool.
You can't see him?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can, but there's like, everyone
So I'll
has
take you
like
to
their
Dr.
rest, they
Snyder's.
have their resting faces on, so they're not smiling or they're not jumping. So like, I just want to see, is this a good video? Okay, good. Just wanna make
Alicia's
sure.
excited. Look, she's
See, Alicia's
laughing.
cute.
Look at Dottie, she's
Yeah.
dancing.
Dottie, where? I don't see Dottie. Oh,
I'm
there's
taking
her.
a Dr. Snyder's tomorrow.
I actually think I do need to.
So, no, you're hearing.
No, I think it's
Okay,
both.
now we're gonna get to our second bullet point in their housekeeping. Convention is in June. So, which I will get to in our training. Convention
June 26th through the 28th.
28th.
Now, we do team party on the 28th that night. So if you don't have to get an early flight that next morning, don't.
Yeah, a lot of people leave that night or early, and then they can't come to what I feel is like the best part
It's the
of.
finale.
I mean, the convention is amazing, but that's company, and that gets the company in your heart. But this gets you the team in your heart, the culture, and the culture is what we try so hard to build here on this team, to make everybody feel loved, but also a part of a family. So plan to be at convention, which we'll get into in team training. Team party is going to be phenomenal. We're working on that now.
Hey, if you guys have any ideas on some good themes, something fun that we could do, put it in the chat.
Yeah,
I'm
put it
always
in the
looking
chat.
for stuff. I'd love to see what you guys think would be fun.
Thought you said one the other day.
I gotta.
Oh, I'm not
lock
allowed
in-
to talk.
No, you can. I just want to lock in the place. Because
What
I
was
know it's
it?
a
It
big-
was Sparkly
no,
Cowboy?
it's not. Why do you open
What
your mouth
was
about
it?
everything? Gosh, Frankie.
Hey, I got to give them some information.
What?
Okay, so the next one's team promo. October, the end of October. You don't have to dress up. They can still come, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So team promo that we have running, we have rented a massive house again in Tennessee. We've actually rented a mechanical bull for 4 hours. So this will be really fun. Maybe I can say there's a team party there too, right?
Well, I mean, it's
Okay.
happening.
I'm the opposite of making her happy, like Dr. Dan. I'm trying real hard tonight, but
He cannot hold water, by the
so
way. Don't
I
tell him anything.
can.
No, he
There-
cannot.
Okay, you're
Not.
gonna dress up.
I'm a
So
vault, he's
team
not.
promo is going on right now. Make sure you get the qualifications. This going into convention, if you do what we've laid out and what the other leaders on this awesome trainings have laid out for you, and you start now and you build to convention, bring people to convention with you, make sure you bring yourself at least, and then out of convention, you really take this seriously, then guess what? You're at this house in October. It's going to be phenomenal. If you haven't seen the pictures, get it. It's on Facebook. I'll be posting more information about it. But that is one thing. And then the last thing I wrote down, every day at 3:33 p.m. This team, we started praying since December for the company, the team, anything that you want to pray about for 3:33 p.m. And it's really something special is happening. But also if you're a praying person, I would say also pray. God showed me this the other day, pray over the products. His supernatural on the products when people take these.
That's good.
So don't just pray, hey, we get bigger, we bless a lot of people. Great. Let's pray that people take these products and they have life-changing results. So, which we've seen. So that is the house cleaning part.
I
And
do
then,
have one thing.
Okay.
So for those of you, pretty much most of you, unless you just joined today. We've rolled out that new process with the welcomes, the support team welcome. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to all the leadership, because that process was implemented perfectly within 48 hours. It was done. I was super impressed. I'm like, this is gonna be a 6-week thing. This was like 6-hour thing. So congratulations to all you guys for just really just being great leaders into your team. And I can't say how grateful my husband and I for you guys, and how much you care and love on your group, because I can really see that. And this system that we put in place, I think, is really just to, one, just declutter some of the text threads, really, because we're starting, as all of us leaders, like Colleen gets so many texts. As a 5-star, it is ridiculous. And so what happens is, with all of those welcomes coming through, even though we want people to feel very welcomed to the team, at the same time, we want the new person that joined 2 days ago to get their calls answered. And we got to find those. So as you know, like, we've been always putting our welcomes, each of us individually. So I know it might feel a little weird just seeing a text thread that is quiet, but if you could please be a good sponsor when you sponsor someone and you bring them in, prepare them for that. Just say, this is a text thread for the purpose, this will be very active. And I actually went into boards and I tweaked the welcome, like the copy and paste that we have, that we just copy and paste and put in the message. I tweaked it. So if you have created one already and you saved it to like a note or something, go back and look, because as we see this process roll out, it's very important that anything that there's any hiccups, that we go back and correct really fast. And so we've changed it from the original. So I do see some of that welcome message, that copy and paste, still the original, but there's been like 2 other ones that we've tweaked since then. So just be aware for like the next week, just check back and watch other texts. If you see other team members maybe not doing it correctly, just remember that we're doing the welcome image first, because the link goes down on the bottom. So it's the welcome image, then it's the copy and paste text, and then at the end, it will be the 101 training link. And the reason why we have the image up top is because it was getting lost in translation on the bottom. So super simple. I'm grateful for you guys just following that and just making it a smooth transition. So we can move on from that one. And next.
Housekeeping takes too long.
It does take long, but it's a time to communicate with the team, and it's important. Communication is key.
My ADD is like driving me nuts here. Okay, so next thing is we started a team run, no excuses. So we make a lot of excuses in life, and a lot of them don't ever pay the bills, none of them, or get you any better place in life. So if you were at next level at the end, there's a lot of, how to do, what to do, but no one gives a game plan. So my vision was, hey, we end this thing with people get a game plan. So for, it was, you build this business in 30-day increments, and then you stack them. So 30, 60, 90 is teaching you how to be an entrepreneur. And I went over some things and next level. And I think the 5 P's or 4 P's that it was is very important. You can't be passive in your effort. You can't be passive in what you're doing or not doing. You can't be passive on yourself or other people. And you can't be too prideful. I mean, this profession, when it goes from your head to your heart, that means it's not about you, it's about the other person. And that's a long distance for some people. And that's why convention is highly important, because it really takes this company from your head and overthinking it to your heart. And then you start thinking about other people. Pride is the biggest equalizer. It holds every single person back. It's the root of everything, pretty much. You might not think so, but when you think of, okay, I'm going to contact Michelle, and then, oh my God, what does Michelle think about me? That is pride. So that is a root. There's a lot of stuff that holds you back. But I told everybody, 400 people list. And then what do we do from that? Well, we make the list, and some people did it, and awesome for you. You sent them to me or in your diamond text. And that's part of starting the process that I say is success. And as you do that, you build this business 30, 60, 90 days, but it's really just trying to teach you the habits of building this business over what? A year, 2 years, and as they call it, the 4-year career. And what do you do now? You wrote a list. We're not going to just look at the list like art. We're going to go out and contact the people. And for you, and for some of you that were in next level and you traveled and you came here, at least you should have done the list. I mean, as I said on stage, don't just come here, get fed, and then leave and never use it. And the first step is writing the list. I mean, anyone that's on here, if you're 20 years old or older, you know 2,000 people by the time you're 20. So when people say, I don't know anyone, well, this is a national actual study. You know 2,000 people. You make excuses. Remember, this is called no excuses. So what is the next step? As Francoise and I would say first, I'll just go over number one and then kick it to Francoise. Clarity. I believe through talking to most people, when I ask people, what do you want from this? Or what do you want in your life? What are your big dreams? What are your goals? And they always go. And they pause, they think, and it's not too clear. But guess what? If I start talking to you about your life today, and as Francoise, was this a hard day? You'll be perfectly clear. Or some friend being mean to you, or some whatever, you're very clear on all that stuff. I'm telling you, until you get clarity, you can't make a decision to go after that 400 list. What does clarity look like? Okay, I was thinking today driving my truck. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. At 19, I started my first company, and all as I said, when my family asked me, they laughed at me, but I was clear. I said, I just started my own business. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make millions. That was my clarity. As Francois said, the universe starts aligning all the other stuff. Oh, do I just say I'm going to make millions and I sit on my couch? No, that is bogus crap people teach you in trying to attract all this. There's no getting without action. There's no, it's just going to fall in your bank account. I had clarity on what I was going to go do, but then I went out and did the action, and then the clarity brought everything I needed. So I started painting, and then employees showed up, and then more work showed up, and then other divisions started. When I started my I'll give you an example. When I started my drywall company, one of the builders go, "Hey, Ricky, do you do drywall?" Never done drywall in my life. I said, "Yeah, I do drywall." I started doing his drywall. Why? Because I had clarity on how big my company was going to be. So I said, after that, I said, oh crap, what am I going to do now? I went, guess what? I had clarity, and it was easy. I go found the guys that did it, opened my drywall company. Same thing happened with stucco. Same thing happened with remodeling, building, all of it. But that clarity started at 19. And it started, the clarity was so clear that I didn't stop. So many people start and stop for two reasons. They don't have clarity and they don't have a habit. Listen, motivation gets you started. How many people, you show up to convention, you show up to next level, you work for a little while, you're all fired up, and then you fall back into what? Doing nothing. Why? Because the motivation got you started, but the habits with the clarity keep you going. So many people, they only move through motivation, and they won't make the habit of going out and being, Chris and Jennifer. And I'll be quiet after this. Chris has been #1 recruiter. He just got the big trophy, and Danielle says she's coming for him, but I don't see it. So Chris is kicking her butt right now. But what happens when you're clear? Chris has been through ups and downs in this profession, but he's clear. He set out to next level. I'm going 6-star, and he's never stopped recruiting. And so is Jen. So what happens? Well, here's what happens. You keep doing it regardless of what happens. And then tonight he is $1 million earner a year on a Zoom for over an hour with us. That's coming in to this company. How does that happen? Because he never stopped doing the habit. Every single day, all day, people calling him crazy, people saying, leave me alone. He don't care. It doesn't bother him because he's clear on where he's going, and he matched that with a habit to do it every single day. And God always repays habits. because action. The Bible says if you plow, if you plant, if you plant, you will have a harvest. And that's just in one example. There's many on here. There's people like Danielle that was picking on, never done this profession. She's making a lot of money monthly. How? Because she has a habit every single day.
Absolutely. Yeah, clarity is important. You did such a great job on that. And I think that, a lot of us think that we have clarity, like I want to be 4-star, but what does that really look like? What does that feel like? And break it down into bite-sized pieces. I think it's important. We talked about this in the beginning too, is just knowing that it's not a destination, success isn't a destination, it's a journey. Every day you're having success. If you wrote a list of $400, 400 people, then that's success, right? And you need to celebrate that, because I think those little successes that you have and you celebrate that gives you self-esteem, good self-esteem, and it motivates you to do more, right? I think a lot of times we come in and we're like, make this major list and go do all these things. No, when people first join our team, it's more like, let's just do 10 people. If you can do 10 people, then we can do 20 people. Those small little wins really do compound to something bigger. But then once you have that clarity, you guys, I think it's more about looking within yourself and making that decision. And people talk about a decision all the time. And what you don't change, you choose. Right. So right now in your life, if you're not happy where you are and you don't change, then you're choosing where you're at. And I think that's so powerful. There are so many things in my life that I had to change because I didn't want it to be my story. You can rewrite that. If you wrote a list of 400, or maybe you said you were going to and you didn't, well, then why not do it today? Why not make that day that you choose to change your destiny, change your future? And it doesn't have to be, this big rank. It could be just a 6-month plan. They say that the most powerful plans are 6 months, right? Because it still keeps you excited, engaged, but it gives you enough to actually have results. And I think a lot of times we don't give ourselves time to succeed. You see everyone else going fast, and you start looking around. And when you look around, that is such a steal of joy. Like, it steals everything from you. So once you make that decision, not only do you have to make decisions on what you want to change, but also hold yourself accountable. And what do you tell yourself, right? Like, what's your personal standard of yourself? Do you feel like you're operating at your own potential? Do you look in the mirror and say, I've gave my all today, or you just got through the day? Right? Are you just trying to get through that day? Are you actually you get up in the morning motivated, driven, you have a plan, right? When I get up in the morning, my day is finished. Sometime my week is finished, right? So have like an objective to what you do. It's the quality of your rituals. If you're doing this part-time, good. I'm so happy for you that you are trying to change your life and work on your business. But like every self-development guru out there says, work more on yourself than you do on your trade. So if you guys are not self-developing every single day, you're missing out, because you are a reflection of your bank account. If you don't have the team that you want, you don't have the influence that you want, you can create that. You can change that. You're choosing to stay where you're at. If you're just making a list and you're not doing all the other things, you're choosing that. You don't have to choose. You can change your story any day. You have the clarity, you have all these things, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you. You have to hold yourself accountable, right? When Colleen gets up 7 days a week and goes to the gym at 6 a.m. or whatever, she holds herself accountable, right? Huh?
Weird.
It's weird. I think you're awesome, Colleen, right? I used to be a 5-dayer, right? Like it's so
She's the
amazing.
psycho.
Yeah,
That's
she's open. She's like everything. You're amazing. You're amazing every way. I love you. But those are choices that she has. She has a standard of herself. She knows herself. She does a lot of self-reflection. And I think that's one big thing too, for you guys to have success, is to know yourself. If you know that you have a hard time in managing your time, get better, right? Sit down and time block the time that you need to do 3. If you know that when you walk in the door every day and you have, say, to go to the gym and you get lazy and you don't want to go to the gym, right? Set it in your schedule and just do one day and do it one day. And then the next day, do it again and again and again. And in 6 months, you have a whole new life. It's that compound effect. What's easy to do is easy not to do, right? It's easy to get up in the gym, go to the gym. It's easy not to go to the gym. It's easy to make a good choice when you go out to dinner and, get something off the menu. It's easy not to. And it's everything we do every single day of our life, right? It's just a choice. And if you have a hard time in these things, just find one thing every day you can change. If you just change one thing every single day in 6 months, you'll be 180 different percent better than where you are today. Right. So for me, I want to have more gratitude, right? I think sometimes I get through my life, I go through my day and I might have like the glass half empty. Oh, I wish this was done or this done around my house. I'm thinking I need to be more grateful. Right. And we all get in these ruts. So what is it in your life that you can change? Just one thing that will help you be a better person. Because if you could become a better person, you attract better people. Or if it's in your trade, maybe you feel like you're in a good place right now with who you are and you just really need to work on your skills. What's that one thing you do skill wise? If you have a hard time, if it scares you every time you pick up the phone, well, guess what? That's what you need to work on, right? The things that scare you the most. And you should be thankful that you guys are in a profession that you're growing every single day. I chose this profession exactly for that reason because I was in corporate America and I was so miserable. There was nothing else for me. I was doing the same thing every single day and I was dying. I was dying. And so for me to be in a place where I have people that are around me that motivate me and drive me and make me better. And that's another thing. If you don't have those people around you that's doing that, you have to make a conscious decision to get away from them, right? I think it's maybe Jim Rohn or one of these say, love people from afar. I have people in my life that I love, but when I'm with them, they suck the life out of me. I can only take them in small doses. Be very aware of your environment. Your environment's super important. I grew up in a home, where things were kind of crazy. That environment, I pay for some of those things too today. I struggle with them because of what I was a product of my environment. Same thing with my husband. Very dysfunctional household. We have to work on those things. And so when you guys are in situations where you're in a situation that you can change them, because we work really hard on our mindset, and your mindset is 90% of your business. Would you guys agree? Heads nodding, right? If your mindset is not right, you don't get up, you don't get up out of the bed, you don't go to the gym, you don't do your calls, you don't do, your trainings, whatever it is, that mindset is super important. So that's one thing for me and Ricky. We've never stopped doing is self-development. And we joke about it, like get a shower speaker. If you don't have one, get one. I don't use my phone because I usually get it wet and that's another problem, right? Listen, wherever you have that idle thinking, it takes time to stop and put on a YouTube video. It takes time. That 1 second, it's a job, but you have to train yourself to do those things because if you guys are not working on yourself, then your business is only going to grow as much as you grow.
Yeah. And so, here's what self-development is thrown out there. And to me, when I first started this profession, it was like two weird words that I've never heard. So I was 20 years into my company and I had to learn the long, hard way. Being really self-development builds your grit and builds your rhino skin, right? So the best thing I can tell you, self-development makes you go bigger, faster, earn more, and never quit. Who wants them four things? Well, you're not going to get them. If you want them four things, then you should put a one in the chat because you can't get them without developing yourself. Most people, actually 99.9%, will not last 20 years trying to do how I had to do it or through my childhood. That, a blessing and a curse, right? Tough, hard, have a lot of grit, but also wouldn't stick into a company and have to learn it the hard way in this profession. They're not going to stick that long. So how can you get bigger, faster, earn more, never quit? You have to devote time to turn off the income reducer, the TV that is not growing you at all. So if you're going to be stronger, when someone calls Colleen, her neighbor calls her a psycho, she laughs. She doesn't care. But it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. We can laugh about it, but 99% of people would quit if someone reached out to them and they said, "You're my neighbor," and you put all that together. It's funny because it's Colleen, but if it's a new person and it's their neighbor and they said you're a psycho because she tried to share this opportunity with them, most people would quit. And it's not that funny. So only reason it's funny now is because Colleen laughs. She don't care, but she had to earn that. She had to go to school with herself to develop that. Who is going to develop the muscle, which is the mind? If you don't, your mind will take you out always. It'll take you out in your relationships. It'll take you out with your spouse. It'll take you out with this business. It'll take you out, period. And guess what? When it takes you out, it puts you in isolation. And most people don't, go do something horrible with a room full of people. They do it in an isolated situation alone. So everything I believe in this world, when we're weak, is forcing us to a place by ourselves. So we can start listening to the enemy in our mind. 80% of the conversations you have has been verified negative. So if you're not going to put any positive in there, how are you going to go out and attract anybody in this profession in a positive way? So this is a must. And also, number two, standard. You have to have a standard. Why do most people get upset, angry, offended, bothered when someone tries to coach them? The true definition is your standard's too low of yourself. If your standard was high, then it wouldn't bother you. My standard of where I wanted to go was always up here. So my mentors, whatever they said to me, didn't bother me at all, ever. I said, okay, you're a jerk, maybe. But it didn't bother me to the fact that I didn't want to talk to them no more, that I didn't want to do what they said. They had what I wanted, and that was freedom. So if your standards are low, you're going to attract low. If your standards are high, when someone tries to coach you, I'm willing to bet there's people here tonight that we've already offended and already made you maybe a little bit. Well, good. So that's reality. But if your standard's high, you have to have a very high standard to get to where you want. Hey, if it's $1,000 a month, that's building your business. That is actually going to have to contact people. You're going to have a high standard of you to build this habit forming every single day to go out and get these people. And, Francoise touched on self-development. Listen, formal education, as Jim Rohn says, makes you a living. Self-education makes you wealthy. Which one do you want? It's very simple. But then we got people that you're saying, hey, are you going to be at a convention? Oh, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to be there. And they don't even understand what that means. Broke people say they can't afford. People that have a high standard, that want to do self-education, that want to get wealthy, say, okay, might be broke. If I'm being real with you, you might not be broke enough, because most people that are broke enough are desperate enough and they go out and change their situation. I was broke enough. I was living in a 200 square foot shack. There's no one on this Zoom that is more broke than I was. My rent, my electric, and my water was $200 a month. $200 a month. And the only door was in the bathroom. And there was roaches as big as my thumb running around that thing when I turned off the lights. So you went into the one room, the front door, and you saw the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, and the only door was a bathroom. So high school dropout came from that. I was broke enough. Most people use broke as an excuse. Most people need to go more broke so they can be more desperate. Because when you get desperate enough, guess what? You start raising your habits and you start raising your standard, and then convention ain't an excuse. Okay, what does that look like? Well, if you have clarity, I'm going to be there, and that clarity is going to get me to freedom, whatever that freedom is. Maybe you don't want what some of these people have on here. Maybe it's just $500 a month that'll save marriages. It'll save people out of bankruptcy. That's phenomenal to me. Okay. I started with $500 a week. That's what I wanted to make in this profession. But what if it is, hey, I'm going to be at convention. What does that look like? Okay. I think anybody on this Zoom can get to convention, have a good time for $2,000. Go sign up 10 people. If you're desperate enough, you have clarity and a high standard, and you want this bad enough, go sign up 10 people. Pay for your trip. There's literally, just like the run, no excuses. There is no excuse why you can't show up every day with a habit, but also say, I'm going to be at a convention. I'm going to make this work like other people have. All I needed for my clarity is have someone else's story for me to hold on to. Sometimes it's so bad in your life that all you need is another story. You need a someone else's success to look at. You know, I looked at my first mentor. He had the big house. He had the nice cars. He had all the things, and he was giving me an opportunity. Did I see myself at that moment being Kevin? No. But I had clarity, like he's giving me an opportunity. That's all I needed. And that clarity was I'm going to go out and make millions because all I needed was a track to run on. I had the opportunity. Now I had the track. If you work, work works. So that clarity, sometimes you have to borrow someone else's story. Borrow Colleen's. She came from Philadelphia, built the #1 team in U Crew. She didn't have any help her last company. She came here and proved everybody with the system and a team what can happen. $400,000 her first year. Borrow that story. Borrow, you know, there's so many people. Hey, I'm super busy. Well, great. Danielle's super busy too. She has 4 babies. She has a 3-month-old. That excuse is out the window. But borrow her story. If she can do it, if she can make $10,000 in a month, you know, just in January, guess what? You can too. So, but also accountability. That's what I strive to be, and I strive. You should strive from that from your spouse or from people around you. If you don't have anybody to hold you accountable, your habits won't be good. You think about it. Okay, so when you're growing up, you really loved maybe your parents, your sister, your brother, whoever, and you messed up. A lot of times we don't feel bad when we mess up, but when we mess up and it hurts the other person that we're accountable to, that bothers us, right?
Yeah.
We will be more accountable to someone else than ourselves, is what I mean. So if you don't have accountability business partner in this profession, then it's very hard.
It's really, you know, it's your upline. Your upline could be your accountability partner. A lot of teams do huddles, which huddles are great for accountability, where you come in and you're actually talking about what's going on in your business, what things that you're doing really well, things that you can tweak. I love huddles. If you have a team of 3 people, you can do huddles. You don't have to wait for your upline to do it. That's something you could take that ownership of. And, you know, you start acting like a leader before you're a leader. We've always been told that. When you go to an event, sit up front like you have 2,000 people behind you and take notes and be totally engaged. You know, you want to be that person just coming out of the gate, even if you don't have a team yet. But yeah, I think that those are very super powerful. Power hours that we're doing, these are things that you should be doing. If you put 400 names on a list, you need to find if these are find out if these are happening in your team. They're super important. Power hours are where people get together and they work. If you have a hard time working alone, and that's why I love these events. I love the next level. I love convention. I love when we get together because a lot of times we are doing this at home by ourselves. And it can be lonely, especially if you're in an area where you don't have what we have in Jacksonville. Like people in Jacksonville are so fortunate to be able to go to an event almost any night of the week and sometimes 2 a day. Right? Like that's crazy. So when you don't have that, getting in those situations and putting yourself in situations to hold you accountable, like, hey, I'm going to show up for this power hour. I'm going to send out 10 calls today. And you show up ready. You don't show up like, hey, I need my script. I don't have my script together. Well, if you know you need help with your script, you do that before the power hour. You know, look at your business as a real business. You treat it, whatever you treat, however you treat your business is what you're going to get. And I think that from when I first started, I said, I'm going to treat this like a real business. And that's what I did. And I had a real business. Some people come and treat it like a hobby. Are you treating your business like a hobby? Are you showing up like a hobby? Like, oh, I'm here, guys. I'm here at the power hour. Okay. Oh, we're doing this today. Like you come correct, ready to work. Like that's what it's for. It's not, let's talk about everything that's happening in our life. It's not a counseling session. That's not what we do. And sometimes we have this relationship and network marketing, right? Where we are family, where we start to get in those routines of just coming and talking and really not helping each other. So not only just holding yourself accountable, hold the people you're working with accountable, right? Like, you know, I'm just going to use, let's see, Dottie. Right. So Dottie called me the other day. We did a beautiful coaching session. The next day, she did everything she said she was going to do, text me, and she's setting up connect. She's doing the things, right? So not only is Dottie coming to me to be her accountability partner, but other people that's heard her, maybe in our lead group, that Dottie's out there wanting to hit this goal and this vision for her life. She has that clarity. You guys have to hold her accountable and just send her a text and say, hey, Dottie, I know that you made that 400 list, right? Like, I know you're running for this goal. Like, how are you doing? Those things are so powerful to do within your team, is say you're not operating at your full potential. Like, I want you to look at one person in your life right now that is in three in your teams, within your team. And if they've been doing something that they said they're going to do, I would love for you to text them within the next 24 hours and tell them that, because that means so much to them. But then I'm also going to say on the flip side of that coin is, if you know somebody on your team that you love and you have a relational rent paid with, obviously not someone you don't know, like, hey, I saw you on stage, right? But like someone you have relational rent paid with, say, hey, I know that you said yes to this run. How are you doing on that? Are you being like, accountable for yourself? Are you doing the things? If not, what are you struggling with? And set some goals, push each other. That right there makes something super powerful. And that, what's the word I'm looking for? That, not momentum, like when everyone's doing it.
Synergy.
That synergy is so powerful to see. And I know we do that in our elite group, right? And this is why you got to climb to the leadership, because we have such a powerful group where we're always holding each other accountable all day long. I think it's a beautiful thing. And it inspires me. And so that's another thing, like we were saying, is like, be around people that inspire you. That elite group, a core elite group, makes me better. I wake up in the morning and see, Chris Hardy and Jennifer going out, chasing their dreams every day, trying to be better. And I'm like, man, like,
Outperforming
I
Danielle.
need to step it up, right? And then I see Danielle like at 11 o'clock text me and still on fire, her brain's still on fire. I'm like, shoot, I could have took 2 more calls today. I mean, so when you have these things, these people around you, it feeds you. And so when you come on a Tuesday night, if you're new, this is super important. This is church. This is where all of us crazy people get together, and we know we're not crazy. And if we are, we have a lot of crazy. So it makes us feel normal. It makes us feel normal. But I feel like it's church. And I also love, like, we're looking at you right now. I love seeing your faces. Be engaged. Show up to these things with your camera on. I don't care if you have makeup on, no makeup, whatever, driving, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes. I don't really care. Be engaged and be present, because I think all those things are super important for you holding yourself accountable. Because I know when you come on here and your camera's not on, you're probably maybe not sitting down and really like absorbing it and taking it in, because we get distracted. Our brain can only do one thing at a time, right? So like this time when we have other leaders coming on a Tuesday night to pour into, these are all things that will help you with your clarity,
Self-education makes you wealthy.
clarity, accountability. It's all the things. It's training you to do good habits. And it also trains you how to be a good leader, because your team will do what you do. If you're on here tonight, I'm not calling you out, don't know, can't see it because everyone on my screen has their cameras on. But if you don't have your camera on, most likely if you sign up to 2 more people, they're not going to be engaged. They're going to do what you do, right? Every week, Folger's on here. I see him front and center, ready to go, pen, paper, notes. He's 100% engaged, right? Let's look at the next page.
West Hampton.
Yeah, Michelle's on here, and good to see you, Michelle. Tanya's on here, Elizabeth every week. I mean, this is what leadership is, and all that will catch up to you. All these things that you're doing, all the small things will catch up to you. And I promise they will. I see it all the time happen. Like Kylene Lustry is not on here. She's in Africa right now, but she has worked so hard. She's had up and downs. She's had stories like Tanya, like she's just been through a lot. And like, she has the most amazing group developing right now. And she didn't have a big team when she came to Next Level. And she had to leave the next day
She didn't have any team.
She didn't have any team coming to Jacksonville. And she continued to show
From
up.
Michigan.
From Michigan. And she showed up. She could only be here for like 24 hours and had to leave like 2 days later to go to Africa.
And she signed up a lady that signed up 3 people today.
She's awesome.
So a business owner. So, and that's what I would say. You need to write down these 8 bullet points. And as an entrepreneur, you learn this from doing it every single day, these habits of being an entrepreneur. So, I'm giving you grace, but I'm also telling you what it takes, right? From 30 years. So entrepreneurs have to show up when no one's looking. They have to do, without being told a lot of times. And you have to be self-motivated, but you also, with motivation, have to build a daily habit. And then this has to be the fabric of who you are. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, even to make 2,000 a month, 1,000 a month, it's going to take you to become an entrepreneur. So the blessing of this profession is that you can do it part-time, but it also is the curse of the profession. What do I mean by that? Most people have a fallback plan. Most people, today I reached out to 3 people. One person was a jerk. One person canceled. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm already doing. That's the curse part. The human mind, unself-educated, will fall back into learned education. Well, what has been learned? Learned is what you're already not happy with. Your clarity now is something you're miserable with. If I ask you what you're miserable with, you have perfect clarity to tell me why you joined network marketing. What is the clarity to take you from that pain to the freedom? Well, remember that education has been programmed because you so much doing that every single day. When you do this profession, the curse is you easily fall back into what you're already not happy with. So you have to fight to build this habit. So first you have to have clarity. We're going to write these down. Clarity. You have to have high standards. You can't just have a high standard of yourself. You have to have a high standard in your circle and the friends you hang out with, the people you talk to. If you're talking to a negative person all the time about your dreams and goals and what you're doing, or you're talking to a negative person, just they're negative all the time, guess what? You're going to be the next negative person too.
High standards in their goals too, that what they think they can achieve, you can achieve more.
Exactly. I mean, we're all running about a 30% of what we really can do, most people. Number 3, you got to develop a habit. Develop a habit. This is every single day, every day. You have to develop a habit. Until you develop a habit, you will get sidetracked all the time. People start and stop in this profession. It's not the profession, it's these 8 things. They start and stop because they don't have a habit, they don't have a high standard, and they don't have clarity. Next one, you have to self-educate. This is a must. I know immediately, even in leadership, who is not doing it.
Yeah,
I know if the mind's weak, how long they're going to stay where they're at or go backwards. This is 100%, a million times over. As a man thinketh, so is he. So, but here, go a little step further. As a man or woman think, so is he, and what bothers them and what comes out of their mouth. So if you can't control the tongue, it's because there's stuff going on in here. So this life and death is power in the tongue, right?
Yeah.
So that's the next one. Accountable. You got to be accountable. You have to have someone, a person, upline, us, somebody. You can't be just accountable to yourself because you're due more for someone else than you're due for yourself a lot of times. Next one, persistent. You have to be persistent forever. You're not going to be able to achieve anything great without persistence. Look at Tanya. She could have quit a million times over. It was really rough. I haven't felt sorry for her for a while. Really sorry for her. So, but what she went through.
What did you just say? I haven't felt sorry for her.
No, I felt really sorry for.
I was like, what?
My wife's not paying attention.
No, I was.
So Tanya was persistent and she never stopped, and God blessed her for that. And she held on. So we all go through, problem, crisis. It's not going to go away. People think once I get through this problem, I'm ready to do it. Once I get this problem, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to really do it. My life's going to get easier. Let me just break the bad news to you. Life's not going to get easy.
Just kind of celebrate when you're.
Man, we live in a fallen world, guys. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to tell you the truth. What happens is you go through enough trauma and pain and experiences in life that makes you stronger. So the problems quit bothering you that much. Jeff Roberti, he's made 150 million in the profession. He says, here's how you know you're growing. When a problem only bothers you for like 10 seconds. When you first start, it'll bother you for days, weeks, months, and then it'll bother you for hours, minutes, and then seconds. What happened? You develop through self-education that what? Strength. Problem, crisis, but I keep going. Next one is patience. You got to be patient in your vision, impatient in your action. So you're running a marathon, but you're sprinting in your action. Your marathon is your dreams, your goals, but your action is every day. That habit, that's the sprint. I haven't met too many people like to go very slow because it's painful. So you can sprint in spurts, like try to force, real fast. That's going to help you push through some pain quicker. Yes, I read in the comments, you reached out to people, they blocked you. Great. Well, they're probably a jerk. You don't want them on your team anyway. I mean, it's ridiculous. Someone blocks you, probably low character. I don't know who they are. They might be your sister. Sorry. None of my brothers and sisters are in my business. They're jerks too. So, if they blocked you, you probably don't want them in your business. And then that is patient. You got to be patient in most aspects of entrepreneurship, but also impatient in your action. And then number seven, I mean number eight, what you get from all that is freedom. So, who wants freedom? Do you want freedom in whatever form or fashion that is? Or think a little deeper and bigger than just you. Do you want freedom for other people? I take in the smiles and the responses, like watching, Jen and Chris tonight. I could see the sparkle. I could see the excitement. And what does that tell me? God's always there. Even when at our last moment, when they think it can't get any harder, then he repays us. And I get to watch that from my viewpoint. And I see that they see that, hey, all this pain, all this trauma we went through, God never gave up on us. And it's so gratifying on this side because I see people like that all the time in this profession. Tanya's one, I keep going. But then, tonight be on that Zoom and I could see God always pays back. Regardless, he says, I will do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ever imagine. So he doesn't put false words out there. But being on this side of leadership, when I see freedom start to manifest for people that's been through pain, you can't put a price tag on that. It's not a paycheck that means that much to me. No, it's watching people that I've went through the trenches, went through hard times, and know how bad they want this, and then see that happen and come to fruition.
Puts the action behind it. He goes through all Chris, Jennifer, and there's so many on here that have been through things, but they just don't go through it and wait for that freedom. They are consistently doing the rituals every single day. They chose not to feed from milk. They are on solid food, right? So they are out there doing the things, maturing themselves as leaders, right? Like in Hebrews in the Bible, it talks about how, there are Christians that never mature, right? They just always need the milk. They're always wanting everyone to feed everything to them. Don't be that person. You've all been in here. If you've been in the business for six months, by 6 months, if you just do the fundamental things and do that really well, there's probably like 5 things you need to learn. Just do that really good over and over again. You don't have to learn everything. You should definitely be stepping up in leadership. If you're on here right now and your heart of hearts know that you could do more and you should be in a higher level of leadership, make those changes. Choose to make the change. Have solid food. Decide that I'm going to mature in my business. We always talk about like this being like, a profession. Choose to be a professional. Every one of you have the gifts and talents to do it. God has put it in you. If right now in your heart 3 is in there and it's, you want 3 for yourself, it's because God's placed that in your heart. It's not a dream because you dreamed it. God's placed it there. It's our job to pull it out of ourselves. And if you feel like you're not strong enough, I rely on the Lord for everything. Half of the things that I still get scared of doing, but I know that that builds my faith and that brings me closer to the Lord. And that's the ultimate goal for all of us, right? Is to have that relationship with God and be closer to him. And so if you're doing something every day that's scaring you, at the end of the day, guys, you're building your faith. You're building your relationship. But you also have to be obedient. And God wants us to grow and stretch. He wants us to be the best we can be to help his children, help our sisters and brothers. And there are a lot of people on the Zoom that's hurting tonight. There are a lot of people that when I said, hey, raise your hand, I have it on my list here on one of my pages, that might have been through something really hard and really crazy. It's not always fun, but at the same time, you have to have faith in everything we do. And I think that sometimes we lose that faith and we just, we just almost, and I say this respectfully, but we kind of wallow in self-pity. It's time to stand up and say, no, enemy, not today. I'm going to take control of my life. I'm going to take control of my destiny. And that's what we've done. There are times that we've wanted to quit and we've had to have faith in what God is doing in our life, even if we didn't see. There are so many things that you cannot see that's good for you that's going to happen. Tanya's one of those, right? Ricky's talked about her story. There are times that she could probably never see what's happening in her life right now. Ever, right, Tanya? Heads nodding, yes, right? Same thing for the Hardys, like they've been through so many things as well. Colleen, even though like she was having a lot of success, she was having a hard time where she was at too. So wherever you're at, there is good coming. You just have to do the things every single day. When we talk about writing that list of 400 people, I think it's important for you guys, yes, to make the list. If 400 is hard for you, go until you can't go anymore and keep yourself accountable, right? So if you can like, man, I can only get 350, we'll get 350, but go as hard as you can and get that list. But don't just stop at the list. That's doing nothing. That's just your first step, right? The next thing is getting your skills, not getting your skills, perfecting your skills that you need to use that list properly. Meaning, are you good at your reach outs? And if not, focus there and get better there. A lot of times you just go, hey, I'm just going to make a list of 400. I'm going to contact them all. To me, that's ignorance on fire. To me, that's just burning through all your contacts, right? So I would look at your daily reach outs for each and every one of you, figure out how many people you want to reach out to a day. Before you actually start those reach outs, get with somebody that is supporting you and have them look at them. Even if you have been in for 6 months and you're not having success, stop. Something has to change, right? You have to see if what you're saying is the right things, because either it's your network, that's all just not at 12 o'clock midnight, and that's okay because you're building your funnel, or it's the way you're presenting, right? So make sure you're getting that support, because I personally love that you wrote a 400 person list, but I don't want you burning through your contacts. We have to slow down to speed up. Once you get those scripts together and you start sending them out, don't go send 50 of them at once. Look at how your network responds, right? Look, I always say, don't throw everything on the wall and see what sticks. Everything I do, every call I do, every Zoom I do, I stop and I hold myself accountable. What could I have done better? What did I do really good? And I want to duplicate that and do it again. That's how you have to start looking at your business. Every time that you do something, evaluate what you're doing. Okay, I sent these 5 scripts. These people, no one answered, right? Maybe you shouldn't send the whole script. Maybe you should do conversations, right? So start to learn those things. And then you have your daily goals. This is talking about those routines. Hold yourself accountable. If you have if you have a hard time with time management, say, I'm going to do 30 reach outs or 15-minute reach outs in the morning and 15-minute at night, and have an alarm on your phone and do it. Just don't turn it off. This is one thing I've learned. Do not turn off the alarm. I've burned so much food by turning off the alarm before I was ready to open the oven, right? Do not turn it off. Let it go off until you're ready to sit down and it makes you do that 15 minutes of reach outs. Then I would also say, if you guys are looking at vision, have a vision for convention, right? One person you bring to convention will turn to 50 in a year, maybe even 100 if you duplicate well. So bring a team, whether it's 1, 2 people, have that vision, because I know everyone on here is going to convention, so I don't have to talk about that, but I know, have a vision for yourself to bring people with you, right? It's super important. Those conversations that we had in the beginning, especially when people are just starting. The next thing I would say is, look at your Facebook and Instagram. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, not even if you're reaching out to like, whether it's your warm market or cold market, doesn't matter. That is your resume. If all you have on there is your cat and food, like that's not really exciting. If you don't have an exciting life, well, borrow something that's exciting, right? Like we have so many.
Cat and food. So what you said?
If you have pictures of your cat and pictures of your food, right? Like there are some, nobody gets on there,
Where did
right?
that
Well, I'm just saying,
come?
whatever,
It's
right?
cute.
Or okay, like or your pets or your whatever. So
Whose social media are you looking at?
it was
Oh
whatever,
wait, that might
Ricky.
be
It might be
Colleen's.
Colleen's. Right. So look at your social media. We do a lot of team videos. Next Level. If you guys have not seen the Next Level video that we did from being in town, I do that not just for me. So you guys have something to promote. Use that. If you were at Next Level with a leader and you took a picture or one of your leaders on the stage, write about it, talk about it. If you're out with your kids and it's a Tuesday and other people are, working, well then write about it. Have some content when people go to your page, when you're reaching out, they know who you are, the things that you love. Are you like-minded? Doesn't have to be anything extravagant. You don't have to have like, a beautiful Instagram like Hillary, right? Like who can be Hillary, but at the same time, you can do you and you'll attract your people. And that's important for you to know. There are people that will only be attracted to you that will not be attracted to me. And we all have a place in this together. And then I would say, again, I did touch on this, the power hours. If you're a leader on here, I do suggest that you are doing those for your team. And just make sure if they are happening on your team, you come prepared. You come to work. You come with your list and you get to work. And I have teams that do it daily, right? And not every team can do it daily. And it doesn't have to be with your leadership. It could be you and one other person on your team. It could be you and 10 people on your team. But those are ways to hold yourself accountable and use your list wisely. And please, 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 if for whatever reason you find yourself not having success, stop. If you send 10 or 20 reach outs and no one answers, stop and just say, hey, can someone look at it? And that's what your diamond chat is for. Your diamond chat is for support. Now,
Or if you're reaching out and you're getting not good responses,
in any
then
way.
stop too and send screenshots and let people help you with the responses that you're giving and what they're saying. And this teaches you how to be, not pushy, not salesy, all the things, and just get them to a phone call so they can see this bigger and better.
Yeah.
So then lastly, as we're going to wrap this up now, but number one, I wrote down Chris and Jen after Next Level. They had a clarity. I think there's a difference between clarity in the ritual and clarity and passion in fire. When they left Next Level, they had clarity. They said, we're going and we're going to go big. And I believe, and I wrote it down here, I believe when there's a clarity with a fire, it brings more action and that brings next levels and new blessings. Because I think God says, okay, now the fire, the spirit, and the clarity has all matched and aligned in who I am. And it's time to bring through that the next level and the new blessing.
And also,
And when someone can feel the clarity, because I could feel it when they left and they sent that text, I could just feel a difference when I read it, and because it wasn't something that Chris and Jen do all the time. So I felt it and now I see it. And that immediately happened because the clarity was mixed with a power and a fire. And number two, you can self-educate by watching the Next Level videos. I mean, there is phenomenal stories in there. You should go watch Tessa's. You should go watch Tanya's. Look, you're all going through hard times. We've all been through hard times. We've all been through trauma. It literally will give you no excuses. You should be watching these. Colleen did a phenomenal job going over why the system's important, what's it's done for her, all the things, the Hardys, everybody that trained. It's free. Go watch it. It's free. And then number three, last but very not least, brain surgery. Every single person, including myself, we need to sit in a room and do brain surgery on ourselves. Write down the things that are making you brush your teeth on team training. Golly. Write down the things that are holding you back. Write down these conversations that you're having with yourself until you can go in and have brain surgery on these things and reflect and be honest with yourself. I don't think a lot of people do they think get to the number 8 on the list, right?
Well, I want to say something there, like with Chris and Jen,
Okay.
after Next Level, I think that they held themselves accountable more than I ever have seen them. The conversations and stuff, like he's just they are by far multiple seven-figure earners. And I think both of them had a sense of clarity and almost like a conversation. They must have had a conversation with themselves because for the first time, they were talking bigger and clearer than I've
They
ever
believe
seen.
it now
Yeah, they believe it.
because the clarity is
Do
there.
you guys agree? Do you guys feel that what we're saying? Yeah, it's powerful and it's so beautiful to see because the evolution in all of us to look at ourselves and know we're worthy and we're meant for more. And sometimes it takes longer to see that in ourselves. And until we see that it for ourselves, nobody can make us do that. We are only going to be what we think we can be. And so to break through those barriers that you could be more, that Dottie, you could be a 6-star, you can be on every stage that you want to be on, but you have to see yourself there. So many of you are captive to your own thoughts. You hold yourself back every day because you don't believe that you could be that person. And until you do, no matter what we say, none of it will matter. None of it. And so your standards of yourself, I think, is probably one of the most powerful things. And when you guys start to do that and you start to see that you are worthy and that you can do more and be more, that's when magic happens. That's when all these things that you're doing, all the routines and all the skills, all of those things just come together to this beautiful combination. And then that moment hits and God gives you your gift when you're ready.
Amen.
He will not give it to you until you are. That leader that you want, that you've been praying for, he ain't gonna give it to you until you're ready. And that's what we saw today. We saw the actions that Jennifer won that award for, her pressing in, even though she might have not felt like she had the success or she was doing the things. We honored her. She saw it. She continued to do it since she's got back from Next Level. All she's done is Francoise, 3 times a day, voicemails. I mean, she is trying to grow. She's trying to be that best leader. And you know what God says? I see you. You've went through it all. It's your time. And I believe for such a time as this, Esther 4:14 is your day.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful to be in the audience.
You don't have
of
a
this.
mentor till you pursue one. So that's what I learned in my life. And I watched Jen call Francoise almost every day. And I watched this couple cry, many tears over the last year. And this is the beautiful part of this profession. And everybody should feel very blessed to see their story, see their blessings start to happen, but also know they went through a very deep valley, like Tanya, like so many other people.
To give you hope,
Yeah,
right?
give
To
you hope.
that the
And
story
and
could
I'm
give you
glad
hope.
we comfortably put you to sleep till 11 o'clock
I'm
tonight.
sorry.
We will get better at this eventually.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, two talking heads talking too much, I guess. We apologize. We love you. And as I pray at 3:33 p.m. every single day, I pray tonight that God will not only bring you to your dreams that He's placed inside you, that He will uh, up His favor and His supernatural blessing and anointing on your life, remove fear because it's holding you captive, and cast pride aside, that you're stepping to the greatness that He's put inside of you, and you will be the light on top of the hill, like the scripture says,
Yes.
that you will have peace that passes all understanding. And like our team scripture says, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. Sometimes, God, we have to ask for strength. Sometimes your strength is there, but through free will, we have to be obedient enough to ask for strength. Lord, I ask each and every one of these people that are your children will be blessed. They will live boldly. They will come before your throne and ask, because the Bible says we shall receive, but also their walk in anointing that they know that they are achievers and they were designed and knitted in their mother's womb before they were ever planted on this earth. And it says in Psalms 139 that you know every hair on their head and that your kind thoughts outnumber the grains of sand on this earth for each and every one of them. And you would have sent your son just for one of them. And as you did, you gave us the greatest representation of your love. You gave your only son. God, I pray over each and every one of them that they will go out and live this life fearlessly, boldly, and courageous. And they'll go out and bless other people and impact them for the greater good and for your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Good night. See you next time.